Yeah. You know, so we've been on this trip for a while now, and we're super tired. Maybe that's why right now we're not really ourselves. I think if you come and see us paint, we'll be whirlwinds. It's so inspiring. But right now it just feels like we should probably move on to the Q&A part so that
then we can say something what you may be interested in.
Yeah, and tell you about, I don't know, like German chocolate or whatever you're interested in. Just ask us.
So any questions?
Maybe you can first tell us about what you said yesterday about the interaction between the two of you, how it starts and how's the involvement of each.
It starts first in a dialogue. Jasmine came up with ideas which we discussed together, and I'm more like a reflector or something like this. And then if we see a way for this topic, then we came up with the first lines. They are made by Jasmine. This is usually here you can see that's how the first scribbles. Doesn't matter on walls or canvas looks like. We use it. We use the spray paint because it's the fastest way. It's a 3.5 bar pressure, so it means you need to hurry up with this. You need to come on point in a fast way. And here you see the next step. Then we usually, if the outline's done, we shoot photo references. And here I think it's my eyes.
Your eyes.
My eyes. Usually our characters, it's funny, they are close to our child's because we use the facial features, nose, mouth, ears, from Jasmine, and we use the eyes from myself. So because Jasmine's eyes are a little too dark for this. There's not enough effect inside.
Yeah,
so, but in this
dead.
way, our kids got facial features from both of us.
My eyes are dead. No, I mean this.
So after this photo shoot, then I take the photo references and fill segmentive the realism part in it.
Right. So we love animals. So one of the things you'll always find in our work is those crazy eyes. So at home we have a zoo, and a circus. We have a circus.
Yeah.
Well, we wished. Because really, it's probably one of those things. We probably paint animals because there aren't enough out there anymore, right?
So, but back to the process. It's
Sorry.
actually a back and forward
I got
between
carried
our
away.
techniques. And if we work on canvases, then it's sometimes also in the opposite way, that I start on the canvas and Jasmine take over. And in Germany, we live in 2 different cities. Which actually is a 4 hours car drive between. So it means we don't spend our whole life together. We paint separately, and we met us to exchange canvases and work together and find new ideas, and then we go both back in our places.
Yeah. I'll show you something else. So sometimes we invite the whole circus over and have dinner parties like this. And there are always dogs in there because they're just your best friend. Well, our best friends. Or crazy people with tomato heads. So any more questions about tomatoes, maybe?
Nobody want to know something. I think
That's
we have
okay.
said everything.
I think we've said everything.
If you have a question, just raise your hand.
What kind of materials do you use?
We work in a mixed media way, and our main tool is the spray paint here. And actually, to paint in a realism way, acrylic and oil, you can mix it, but this is a fixed spray paint, and you got what you got, and that's the reason why I use for this realistic stuff a set from 30 till 45 different colors. And and Jasmine, she use acrylic, charcoal, and
And
Actually-
shoelaces also.
Actually,
shoelaces.
she used everything what she can get in her hands.
Because these were real shoelaces.
Actually, for my shoes,
Yes.
not on this.
Yeah. No, but I mean, there's no limit to what you can use. And it's always good
This is actually one double page from our
Book?
last book, and it's also a collage. So actually, most of the pages are still in your living room,
What?
in 1:1 size. You build them by
Oh,
yourself.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh, that's a good point. So
Yeah.
you're all graphic designers and artists. So
But we was now so not good with really layout. That's the reason why we found our own way to lay out something.
yeah, my InDesign skills are really crappy. So I just built all the pages in the book with photos, and with I did the writing either by hand or with a typewriter, and that way we created a very, I think, a
Playful layout.
very playful layout. You should check out the book. It's the bigger one. Here is another sample for what Falk said earlier, what Herakut said earlier about our features in the painting. So we take photos of ourselves and then work the realistic stuff from photos. But sometimes our reference material is also what we find in art books, really. I mean, as you can tell, everyone probably knows the Warholian soup can, so there's really no limit to where the ideas come from, and so does with material. It just you find things everywhere, and you find cardboard everywhere. Oh yeah, this is a good example too. So this is just all cardboard on cardboard on cardboard, and by that we could build this huge installation in a room in New York.
It's a nice material. It's easy to bend, and you don't need to spend much money in the material. That's
Right. Or you just use whatever is there. For example, this page, it's also from the book. So okay, this thing up here, right? It looks like we painted a whole room. Oh, we painted inside a room where everything sort of looked like this with the sink and all that. So we just installed something right on the wall. That was in the time where we felt really empty-headed. So that's why the symbol of the empty head,
yeah, you can look through.
Right. But then also sometimes we feel like chicken. So we painted that was also in New York, where we painted some chicken. So funny because I think our style is so weird that later, I don't have a photo of this right now, but later someone came and painted over our work. And a photographer...
Actually, he added something.
He added something. I think he added like glasses to the chicken. And then someone else, like a photographer who was making a book on street art in New York, took a photo of it and published it in the book and totally thought we'd done the glasses.
So our way is so messy that
Yeah.
if somebody else added something to it, then it doesn't matter. So it looks still Herakut.
Right. And we don't want to bore you or hold you up. It's just, maybe this is a good page for how we see ourselves. So the one with the bird head, that's me. And the one looking all shiny in armor, that's him. And this was from right after the big whole economy crash. That was 2008 when we painted this huge thing. And you can see the writing in the back. It's actually a quote from REM. We came to disappear. So maybe that's something about us. We want to be there and do something, leave a mark, and then, just we just want to leave a little bit of I was here thing in the world. So that's probably it.
But I still have the cat suit in my closet.
Yeah, he wears it every night. Right.
Question. Can you talk a bit about the benefits of collaboration and how do you select a good partner and how do you know versus working solo?
So the nice thing in our collaboration is that we are so opposite if it comes to mentality, and that's the reason why also our way to work is very opposite. Jasmine is very loud and fast, and is also her way to paint. She makes this strong, expressive outline thing, and she got a beautiful handwriting. And I'm actually the opposite. I got a horrible handwriting, but that's not the point. But I'm such a quiet, slow boy, not anymore. But so I have the patience to spend this hours which is necessary to paint this realistic stuff. And I think this dynamic between us and also the dynamic in the painting of us, it's something what's unique for this kind of duo work.
Yeah, it helps to have more than two hands. So to team up with someone just means, you share, so everything's faster. Once you have, once you got a routine there, everything's faster. You have double the brain, twice the number of eyes, etc. But sometimes we think we have only 3 eyes or something.
Yeah, 1.5 brains.
1.5 brains, but it's still it's so important to reflect something from 2 sides at least. So if you only look at it from your own point of view, it might not be enough. And you can commercially actually only reach a little audience, a small audience that has been through the same stuff you've been through, so they can relate. But if you have 2 people and then even more people you talk about the stuff, then you actually find a message that will appeal to more people. It's just that. Bye. Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions?
I have a question. In your creative process, do you ever have
Just stand
any
up.
argument or let's just say differences when it comes to approaching certain styles? Like, for example, probably you would like to paint with this canvas and suddenly, okay, this didn't come into mind, and then the other one steps in.
If we don't find a common ground, then we don't paint this topic. So we need something where we are both on the same page,
Right.
and we develop this common page together.
Right, because then the topic might not be strong enough, maybe,
Yeah, or not clear enough. That's a good thing. Is if you're by yourself, then maybe you think it's good enough or strong enough. But if you are more than 1 people, you can talk about it.
Oh, by the way, talk about people. I don't know if you. Well, I'm half Pakistani, so sometimes topics matter to me that don't really appeal to him. But then again, he's open enough to follow the news. And
If it sounds logic for me, maybe.
So, right. But this was a piece we did actually. This was personal, but also, obviously political one, where Malala, the girl who got shot by the Taliban and now became some sort of little hero in Pakistan against the Taliban movement. She lost her eye while riding the bus to school. So we actually did a portrait of her and painted an eagle as a symbol for freedom, which we really hope she will have and stay free like this. So this was sometimes a little comment from us to things that happen. So it's not just our private life, but also a little bit of the outside world, or a lot, actually. Yeah. Just.
Which is more? Do you get? Do you look for clients, or the clients go to you? Which is more?
Well, right at this point, it's usually they come to us. But actually, it's always really been like this. But I told you, we do a lot of things that are non-commercial. So I can tell you as, a colleague now, it's an inserted tip. Do as much charity work as possible, because that's the way to get out there. That's the way to show your work, If you
And
always...
to do something positive, for sure.
Both at the same time. It's an absolute win-win. It's always good for people. If we painted a lot of schools, a lot of community buildings, a lot of kindergartens. I mean, they would just pay for the paint. But what happened was, it's the best business card you can hand. They will always remember. I mean, there will always be one person passing by thinking, "Hey, that might be exactly the project. I have a project I'm working on. I could use exactly those." Remember the one I showed you where we painted that girl with the bird's head the woman wanted to get a tattoo of? So while we were painting this, someone approached us. He's actually from the UN, what's it called? He's arranging the international children's meeting in, I want to say Sri Lanka, but it's not right.
It was Sri Lanka.
It was Sri Lanka next year. So he asked us, he saw us painting, and he asked us, "Hey, do you want to travel to Sri Lanka next year and talk and have a workshop with kids at the international meeting, International Children's Conference?" That's what it's called. And we're like, "Yeah, sure."
I think
why not?
It's all about to be visible, to be
visible.
Yeah, that the people can see your stuff and read your stuff. So, and if it's honest enough and it's yourself enough, then the people maybe appreciate this. And that's I think a main problem today, that we live in the area of copying, and a lot of people. For a lot of people, is it a problem to find their own way, because it's so much information around us, also with the internet. Then yesterday I said it's important, if you want to make art, have a tunnel view if it comes to art, but you need to have a 360-degree view if it comes to the life around you.
Right. And then also, I pulled this one up because you really definitely have to dare to make up your own language. So, for example, the stories of the street are mine, and then said the squirrel and did a mysterious gang sign. So what I'm saying is, no one really knows what it means except for the kid. And that's actually one of our qualities. We have our own little stupid language. But that actually makes us interesting to people who want to know. So they'd be like, "Hey, do you want to wear my sneakers?" And then for all of a sudden, we have all these sneakers at home, and we are in touch with an international sneaker company.
I think it's an insider story and nobody understands.
Oh, okay,
so
nobody
let's switch
understands.
to the next question.
No, but I'm sorry. It's just that when you have your own style, it's like your own language. So brands will approach you to be adding to their image as a brand, like the mysterious or the urban or the underground or whatever. So be your own little brand. I saw one other hand. I think it was the turquoise shirt. Yeah.
I see a lot of different elements in your art. What inspires those specific details?
Good question. It's like he said, it's a 360-degree view, which also means Googling a lot. Yeah. So you go...
But skip the first 5 pages.
Yeah, skip the first 5 pages in Google. And then find images, go to the website, go deeper, read the story, find an author, buy the book. It's really just kind of getting sidetracked on purpose. And then just following it. You know, it's interesting. I talked about music before. It's you watch a great movie, and then you get the soundtrack. And on the soundtrack, you find a band you would have never known about. And then you go on. So all the information you see in our work, it's like a jukebox with all the stuff we've seen, with all the stuff we've listened to. And then someone randomly presses a button, and something pops up, and it'd be like, yes, that's it. So we never really question a thought when it comes to our mind. I mean, we always question everything, but when there is a thought, we'll just roll with it and let it out instead of thinking, is this worthy enough of this environment? It's like, yes, if we're thinking it right now, it is. If it's a bad thought, we'll just write like in brackets underneath, it wasn't a good day today.
When you also connect things locally, when you're working all over the world, like here in Manila, you find things to connect with and inspire?
Right. Well, as I said, I really honestly meant it. You should go and check out our new work today because we're so exhausted now because we've been working so hard on processing everything that we've been seeing since we got here. So we went to Quiapo on the first day. Yeah, we're still trying to recover. No, but it's so amazing. You guys have such an interesting culture, and it's so, I can say it's so lively. It's so alive, and people are so creative without trying to be. They're just trying to fix their house, and it looks like a museum installation. Or, the pedicabs, everything. I mean, all the tape they use. All this material, it's just so wonderful collage work. And it's really just keeping things, not just throwing it away when it doesn't work anymore, It's like, I don't know, just being very smart and clever. And then we found a guy, Jose Rizal. Well, we didn't find him. We just found if we really actually compare him to, he'd be the Filipino Mahatma Gandhi, I think, and you should definitely make an international movie with international stars to tell his story to the world because I think he's pretty good. And so we used his quotes a lot in our work. And we're going to take his work back with us to Germany and next time, so it's in the jukebox. So you guys are in there too now. I remember all of you. So.
Any other questions?
Hi.
So, like you said, street art isn't. You can see beauty in everything, even the pedicabs here. But locally here, street art isn't really that big. So a lot of street artists, I think, are struggling here. So I'm just wondering what advice would you give them for their art to be taken more serious.
Do you want to answer?
Nee, ich habe es nicht ganz verstanden. Sag's mal.
Unlike in other countries, street art is really respected, where it's growing art form. Here, it's not so.
What do you think is the reason?
I don't know. Maybe because one, it's illegal.
Like everywhere.
And even if it is legal, a lot of people, when they pass by street art, they just think it's vandalism. They don't really see it as what you do. One of your artworks were here. A lot of people would still appreciate it, but a lot would just think someone just drew over it because they hated the government or something like that. But, so yeah, I think for street artists who want to be known locally, because I don't know one street artist here that has really been as successful as you guys. So I'm just wondering, what can you tell them that make their work taken more serious?
Well, first, if you want to be taken serious, you have to take others serious. So there's always a reason why some building owners don't want their buildings to be painted. And you just have to find the ones that will appreciate you. So you have to stop with the illegal stuff if you want to be respected that way. So it's, you cannot paint and expect it to stay if you painted where you weren't supposed to. So it's kind of, makes sense. The other stuff would be graffiti. Graffiti is about something else. That's like, pissing on the wall like the dogs do. So it's kind of, they don't care. But street art, like in this case that I pulled up, we did this in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Portsmouth, New Hampshire has no real street art scene. I mean, no street art scene at all. And what happened there was some people thought, let's get street artists out here. And of course the town was full of people who have never seen it. They don't even know it's accepted anywhere. They just think, I don't think I like this message on my wall. So if you want people to, get your permits for the wall, you need to talk to them. You need to find out about what makes the situation better. You can even, make a sketch like I showed you earlier. Approach a building owner, say, I have an idea for this neighborhood. I want it to be, more beautiful. So that means they understand. You don't approach them for money. You don't say, hey, give me so and so much money so I can make your store nice. Then they're going to want you to paint their logo. But if you just say, my ideal is to beautify, to show a message that is not about selling toothpaste, that is not about advertisement commercial smiles, you have to come up with something that will move them. In this case, in Portsmouth, we found out who is the most influential writer in Portsmouth, which was a lady named Cecilia Thaxter, and she was working when the 1860, when they had the North-South War, enslavement, abolishment, Civil War thing, and then, so we actually quoted her and used it in our painting, which is a connection between the city and the street, which is a connection to the old guys who lived there because they had to study her biography. The young ones don't even know her anymore. And I think if you approach it that way, just be very diplomatic, go to people, ask them for permission, go to your school, ask, or, yesterday we were in a pretty good school. They had not abandoned buildings, but they had buildings they didn't use so much anymore. And I told them, this is the right playground, for the street arts. They need legal walls so they can practice.
And one other thing is, if you want to lift up the image of the local street art scene and give them a better ground to grow, then the city should, you guys should arrange street art events or something like this, or happenings where you invite people from any other places and let them paint here, because I know how it is in Germany. If you start in your own country, they give a shit about you. In my hometown, nobody takes care of me. Nobody is interested in my stuff. But the thing is, sometimes it's better to bring people over who are already established. That you open the mind from the locals and say, okay, there's it's something else. So it's in your own town, you will be for a while only the kid who start graffiti or something like this. But if you show them other samples, then you opened the playground for your own society, for your own people to make something. Yeah. It's so much easier if they saw this great work from artists from another place who make great things or big things in a good way. It's open doors for yourself.
Right. Yep, everything correctly answered. So next year we'll see your work up everywhere. But you will help the culture to develop, right? Right. What impact we wished for?
Was heißt ein Impact?
Was für einen Einfluss wir haben, also was für einen direkten, was unsere Message für die ist, was wir uns wünschen würden, was wir erreichen.
Achso, dann erzähl mal.
He was like, well, I would like to know too. Basically, I think it's a very, very basic thought. We were born with some sort of energy, like a talent, and all of you guys have it too. And we want to make sense of our lives. So in the end, we will want to think, yes, we used our talent to actually do something that touched somebody in a positive way. And not just being here and consuming and consuming and consuming. We actually want to create some output. And you never know where it lands, Maybe there'll be that one kid who will pass by a wall in the bus and will be like, damn, that's a really good thing that I just read, like food for thought. And maybe that kid will take it further, become president of the world and build a huge Herakut monument. No, it's really not about it's just, as I said, it's leaving a little bit of a mark, and maybe someone else will do something on top of that. So that's why we don't mind too much when people say, oh, this, like some people would send us emails saying, I've discovered an artist who paints exactly like you do. And they would be like, oh, what copycats and all. But it's really the first thing you do. It's such a natural thing. If you see something, then you're going to try to copy it. It's just nowadays, with internet and everything, everything's out there already. I mean, I copied so many things. I just didn't put them on Instagram. So you just have to, it's good. We are all here to learn from each other. Put yourself out there. Try to make the message positive so that people can take the next step. And in this case right here, someone can read it, right? Like I think, I don't want to be embarrassed. So it means the past can be a gift to your future. So the past can be a gift to your future. This is what this was the message that we put on the wall in Mexico City, in DF, in the middle, like downtown Mexico, which almost looks like somewhere in the United States. So it basically, it looks so international and so little Mexican that, we talked about that with people. And basically everything they told us was always, Mexicans, they have their identity, but they don't really think they can really build onto that. But one of the messages that we like to say is, these are your roots, so carve something nice out of them. Because that's actually what's gonna, this is what you can sell to the world, really. Not only financially, but what you have to share is your roots. So don't try to be someone else.
Let's have one last question. Anyone? No more? Okay, so let's please give a round of applause for Herakut.
Thank you.
Thank you.